gives you exactly what it tells you it's going to give you. So yeah, it was a short read, didn't take up too much of my time. I enjoyed the dynamics, I enjoyed the characters. Again, was it groundbreaking? No. Was the character development out of this world? No. Like, it was just a cute, fun, quick and easy romance with a touch of comedy and a touch of spice. And then, per usual, I will read a little bit. I will read a little bit of it for you. I will do a little bit from chapter 1, which is Tucker's perspective. And even though it will be a little bit of a jump ahead, I might do a little bit from Lizzie's just so that you can see the tone for the two different perspectives. But chapter 1 is Tucker. Tucker Taylor walked across the sticky floor, carrying a second round of drinks for the table. The pub's best days were probably a few centuries ago, but that fact didn't seem to faze his companions, their voices rising from the dimly lit booth. His younger sister Nora gave a cursory nod as she reached for a pint and continued her argument. Clearly, Jane Austen's impact is the most far-reaching. Her insights into social issues were way ahead of her time, and her exploration of class and society remains as relevant today as in the 19th century. Oh, come off it. Her friend Pip slumped back, her freckled features contorted. The Bronte sisters were literary rebels. They gave us Mr. Rochester, the ultimate bad boy, and Heathcliff, who originated the idea of a situationship. These two had been going in circles about dead writers for 40 minutes. Tuck slid into his seat and absent-mindedly checked his phone for the umpteenth time. Maybe something cool would pop up, like underwater hockey trick shots, kitten rescue shorts, or the mating habits of Peruvian giant yellow-leg centipedes. At this point, he'd honestly settle for a weather update. You'd prefer gloom and doomery over wit, charm, and financial stability, Nora scoffed. Who needs unhinged passion when you can have a comfortable marriage with a side of banter? Bro. She gestured to him with a weigh-in-here motion. Who would you choose? The boss who harasses you and totally doesn't have a wife locked away in his attic? Or, Pip interjected, the snobby winker who's embarrassed to be infatuated with you? Tuck froze, hoping he didn't look like a deer in headlights. Neither. Both women groaned, exchanging eye rolls before resuming their debate. Nora, studying British literature at the University of Bath, had already booked a short friend trip to the village of Hollows Gate when Tucker had sprung a surprise visit on her. She'd insisted that he tag along. Tonight they'd gone to celebrate Yule at Ye Olde King's Head in Town Square. What happened to the new King's Head? Tucker had mumbled when they parked out front. Pip, another student from Nora's department, offered a lukewarm grin, her facial muscles barely going through the motions, so he decided to zone out, only half listening to which literary icon was the GOAT, Jane Austen or the Bronte sisters. Okay, obviously we're gonna skip ahead a little in the plot to get to Lizzie's chapter, but I want you to get the feel for her voice as well. My most neglectful offspring, I set pen to paper to address the conspicuous silence that followed my previous letter. I can only surmise that your leisurely diversions have left scant moments for correspondence. This past Monday I had the pleasure of taking an excursion through Kensington Gardens with Lavinia Throckmorton. Amidst this floral profusion, dear Lavinia unveiled a most astonishing revelation. Her Augusta, at a mere 18 years of age, has found herself betrothed. A marvel, considering you, my dear, have now completed 27 orbits around the sun in solitary splendor. In her usual delicate manner, Lavinia sought